to have the exit stage music cued when you're staying on stage.
I'm rarely on stage. I didn't know that was exit. Do we get that music?
I think we will get something like that. I hope so. Are we going to get something like that when it's time for us to leave? Great, good talk. Your turn.
First of all, thank you both for coming. My question is, this year at the PCA Awards, you were nominated by Writing Rights. I think you were at first as a nominee, and then we were the winner. So how do you feel about that? And in the show, at the scene, Crowley makes fun of PCA Awards. So how are you feeling about that?
Well, People's Choice Award. I feel good about winning the People's Choice Award. Is that the right answer? I think your timing on asking that question was impeccable, waiting until just after Jensen left the stage. Well played. And I loathe Crowley for demeaning the PCAs in any way. Obviously, as you know, it's pretty much right up there with Oscar, right? A PCA? Is it? No?
It is.
Thank you.
How are the other actors' feelings about your win?
I think that they spend a lot of time consoling one another and crying. You think? Yeah, probably. Yeah. Thank you.
Hi. So first of all, Misha, I wanted to thank you for being so involved with charities, with Gishwas and Ranamax, because I think what's important is that all of us in this room somehow come from a place of privilege. Like, what we're doing here just doesn't come naturally, it's not right, it's privilege. So what I wanted to ask you is, what's your number one advice for fans or in general people who want to found or start their own charity?
Well, I would just say start small. I don't think you need to found or start a charity necessarily, because there's lots of great organizations that you can hitch your wagon to. And even very small contributions in aggregate can go a long way. So small acts can make a big difference.
Thank you.
Hello, my question is, when Castiel put Sam out of hell, did you left his soul on purpose? So soulless Sam could work for Castiel, or did Castiel really don't know that the soul was still in hell?
You want to field that one?
No, Castiel didn't know. He, I think he says, and that guy was a long time ago, but I think he has a run of dialogue where he talks about how difficult it was and that you lost angels in the process of getting Sam out. I mean, it was a raid, and, you know, like the killing of bin Laden, the way you go in and you do it and you get out. So Castiel didn't know. I think when he found out, he was probably a little disappointed, but no, he didn't know the result of that.
Thank you.
Thank you. Can I ask you another question? Is that all right?
If you want to
I
take their time,
it's kind of cutting in line, but
Yes, you can ask.
thank you for your charity. So you are both about to go back to the writers' room they start back in the writers' room on Tuesday. What's the process when you get back into the room for the first time after a hiatus? You have a very short hiatus of 2 weeks or something?
Generally, it's not even that. I cheated this year and came here. Well, we talk about once we know what the end run of a season is, and the cliffhanger that we've created. And just so you know, we never know when we do these cliffhangers how we're going to get out of them. You know, people think, well, there was a grand plan, and then there was a 3-year plan, or not true. We write a cliffhanger and go, okay, now what? So after we write that, we start talking about different ways to frame the next season. When we go into the writers' room now with all the writers, that's a smaller process. Jeremy, myself, Eric, and me. We
So the two, like you and Jeremy, will sort of figure out how you're going to get out of the cliffhanger and the big mythology.
Yeah, in a general sense, just sort of a general arc. Now, when the writers come in on Tuesday, I'm not sure how great Eugenie and I are going to be in that room after flying 14 hours, but we'll do our best. We tell the writers that this is our ideas in a very general sense, and then the writers start to contribute story ideas, and we get into much more specifics, and that can take the better part of 2 weeks to get kind of a solid, at least first half of the season. And hopefully get everybody excited about where we ended up, and then each individual writer or writing team, in the case of Eugenie and her partner Brad, will go off, think about episodes, pitch those episodes, and it's sort of a fairly arduous process from idea to script.
Excellent answer.
Thank you.
Very good question, Julie.
Hi.
Yes, hi.
So actually my question was connected to all three of you, but unfortunately Jensen left.
That's all right. I do a good impression of him. So.
So we already know that Jensen's going to direct next season. So my question is to Robert. Is Misha going to direct next season?
We have not discussed this question amongst ourselves, so yes, we are.
But if you have an opportunity to discuss it, I don't know, what do you think about that?
I think Misha would certainly like to direct again. Getting a directing slot is difficult.
Yes, but I think he did a good job.
He did a very good job.
We have kind of a queue, if I'm not mistaken. So there's sort of a queue on the show, and you get in line, and when your ticket comes up, you get to direct. Yeah.
Is this queue a lot? Like, have a lot of people?
This queue is
a long
very
queue.
long, yes.
Yeah,
Everybody wants to direct. I guess I understand that. I don't think everyone is equipped to direct. You never really know, but we have a lot of people who want to. The studio also has a directing program in which when people graduate from this program, they want to put them on Warner Brothers shows. So we have a certain obligation in that area to try new directors. And it's, as he said, it's a queue, and the queue can get quite long. But having said that, Misha and I have not talked about this, but I guess now we will.
I wish you will. Thank you. Thank you for the question. Thank you for being here. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hello. So my question is for Misha, but both of you can answer. We saw the cast called The Bunker Home in the last episode. So when everything will settle down, do you think you will choose humanity and Team Free Will or heaven? And how his idea of home has changed?
Yeah, Castiel's.
Castiel's idea of home.
Yes.
I always think of Castiel as homeless. Really, I mean, that's not a bad thing. I mean, not homeless in the sense that he's on the street and can't afford a bed. Not that homeless. But his idea of what he is supposed to do in the world, which can get confusing to him sometimes, is really not to lay down roots. It's to go out, be helpful. He'll tell you that his, God's original mission was, the angels should help mankind. That is a very charitable character. He comes to the bunker and he's very close to the boys. He loves the boys. But I don't think he would ever consider that place or any place necessarily home for him. He goes where he's needed. Does that answer your question?
Yes. Yes. Thank you.
Hello, my question is more a general one. You make a lot of references in the show, and I just wanted to know if you ever have like movie or TV series evenings with like the whole crew where you watch what you're actually referencing. And a part question pertaining to that is, in the episode Weathers box, how did you know the story of Weather? Weather?
Werther.
Weather. Okay. It's, yeah.
No, we don't really sit down together and watch movies, but one of the things that I think really works for us is that the group of writers is quite diverse, so my reference points may be entirely different from Andrew Dabb's reference points. Matter of fact, they are. Some of that is just due to an age difference and also what we like. But references come up all the time in the room, like this. I mean, even when we do seasons, we talk in terms of movies. This season is a film noir season. This season is The Getaway, and I think that helps the writers. But the fact that the writing group is so diverse, that really gives everybody kind of, we're not all cut out of the same cloth. So that seems to work for us. I mean, it's worked for 10 years of keeping this diversity, but in terms of a group getting together and saying we want to do this, I mean, everybody's pretty literate, so there's very few reference points that people on the staff don't know, and if they don't, they'll just go out and get the movie or the TV show, and then they'll catch up with it. Is there a second part? Oh, the Werther box. We have some really great people working in the office who do a lot of research for us, and they'll come up with, facts like the Werther box, and then we'll build an episode around it. Or it's part of the knowledge that they themselves have, and they think, oh, this would be a good time to put this particular thing into play. But our research people are terrific, and we take pretty good care of all the mythology, and not to, one thing we're really proud of is that we don't turn our mythology on its head and really sort of say, oh, I know we did this 3 seasons ago, but this will work now. We're pretty consistent, and take a certain pride in that.
Thank you.
Hi. So my question is, what gives you hope?
That's such a narrow question. I think for me, there are a lot of things that give me hope. But I'll speak specifically to my experience on Supernatural thus far. Seeing how this community coalesces to support one another is giving me a great deal more faith in humanity. There is an enormous support network that has evolved around this show, in the fandom of this show. I have met so many people who've come up to me and told me that in some way or another, this show or the community of people that they've met through this show has either saved their lives or stopped them from self-harm or given them renewed hope in some way. And that is such a phenomenal and totally unexpected outcome of this little monsters and demons sci-fi show. I mean, could you have ever imagined when you started this that, and this is not hyperbole, there are dozens of lives that have been saved, or at least individuals who feel that their lives have been saved by this show. And that is such a remarkable social phenomenon. And it gives me a great deal of hope. And it also makes me really grateful to be a part of this enterprise in some way.
I agree with Misha and all that, and I'm always encouraged and heartened by this sort of thing. I'm probably more of a cynic than Misha, and I think they say that a cynic is an idealist. Disappointed, thank you. An idealist disappointed, and so, I mean, I despair for the situation that is in the world today. But this sort of thing, and seeing the fans, and getting these letters that, you know, where people talk about what we've meant to them, is certainly heartening. You know, if you could spread all this goodwill around, that would be a wonderful thing.
No more? Are you giving me, that's the no more? We have to go? Okay, how about one more? Is that a compromise? Can you? What am I, new? I just do. I hit the microphone into my face. Keep the conversation.
Are we supposed to do that?
Yeah, that's a little thing we do on here. They love it. They go crazy for it.
So my question is for Bob specifically.
What part of Italy are you from?
I'm from America.
I'm not familiar with that province. Yeah.
Anyway, we heard there was a lot of talk about the death of Charlie, that it wasn't something that was done lightly. My question is, how did you consider that killing off a really queer female character, and how that translates to the fans who are often in the LGBT community, and she meant a lot to a lot of people, and how that affected
Okay. Well, I'll give you two answers, and sort of in a scaling. We felt that we were really presenting an LGBT character in a very positive light when we created Charlie. That there was, that she could be a role model for people. And we're very aware of that in the room. In terms of Charlie's death, you know, we go kind of where the story takes us, and her death had nothing to do with her being gay. You know, I know there's a lot of stuff that goes around out there about how we treat gay people, or the whole STL thing, and you know, and all that. I can tell you, you know, I know the actors get this question all the time. I can tell you, in the writers' room, this never ever comes up. We love all these characters. We try to treat them with a lot of respect, and there is, and I don't say this in a sexual way, there's a lot of love between these characters, and if people can interpret that any way they want. You know, we're not here to dictate how people feel about the characters on the show. I mean, you know, we have Castiel people, we have Dean people. You know, after 1 year, I got a letter and said, well, I'm never going to watch the show again because you didn't do enough with Dean this year. It was all Sam. And then the same day, I got a letter saying, I can't watch the show because you didn't do enough this year. It was all Dean and not Sam. So, you know, people kind of get involved in a character, and they want more of that character and more of that character. We try to write every character to the best of our ability. At the end of the day, we go where the story takes us. We want to be provocative, and the fact that, I mean, we love Charlie, but the fact that so many people are upset that Charlie died, we think is a good thing, in the sense that, wow, we had you invested in this character, so we really did our job. And some characters just are going to die because that's where the story takes us, but please don't in any way think that has anything to do with Charlie's sexuality. It's just where the story took us. Okay?
Let me just add one thing to that. I think that in a show like this, you need to be able to feel danger. And if you don't believe that a character that you love could really die on the show, then the danger isn't going to be there. You know, if you know that at the end of every episode, everybody is still going to be alive, there's your emotional investment in watching the show is going to be completely deflated. You know, I think that you need to know that people can die. And I, for one, also just really love the way Charlie has been portrayed on the show so far. And I say so far because When You're Dead on Supernatural doesn't really hold a whole lot of water. I mean, it means something, no offense, but when you kill people, you don't do it very well. They all come back. But she was a smart, lovable, attractive gay character whose character wasn't about being gay, which I think was really well done. I think a lot of times when we have gay characters presented in pop culture, their characters presented as all about being gay, like that it's all about that sexual identity. And I think that the show did that really well with Charlie and LGBTQ. I know that that's getting longer. Community in the fandom, you know, really I think got a great character with Charlie, and you know, I think possibly we'll see more of Charlie at some point in the future. I don't know. I don't know that, and I'm not saying that.
I do.
But...
You will.
Okay, there you go.
Okay. So, that's why we all love UC Bello. For the very first time in a convention, one of the creators of the series. Please put your hands together for Bob Singer! Misha Bob Saturday